Can you retire at 60 with $500,000? The answer is not a simple yes or no. For some Americans, $500,000 can support retirement at 60. For others, it can run short surprisingly fast. The difference usually comes down to 5 numbers: how much you spend, how much guaranteed income you will receive, when Social Security begins, how you cover health insurance before Medicare, and how flexible you can be when markets fall. So instead of guessing, let's put $500,000 through a retirement stress test. Start with the portfolio. Morningstar's latest retirement income research estimates a 3.9% starting withdrawal rate for a new retiree seeking consistent inflation-adjusted spending over a 30-year retirement using a balanced portfolio and a 90% probability of having money remaining at the end of that period. That research excludes Social Security and other non-portfolio income. Apply 3.9% to $500,000. That equals $19,500 in the first year. Divide that by 12, and you get about $1,125 per month from the portfolio before taxes. That is our first reality check. A $500,000 portfolio does not automatically mean you have $500,000 available to spend freely. Retirement planning is about converting a pool of assets into sustainable income, and age 60 makes the problem harder. A 30-year retirement takes you to age 90. But retiring at 60 could require your money to last longer than 30 years. That means 3.9% should not be treated as a guarantee or as a personalized recommendation. It is a research-based starting point for analysis. Now look at spending. If your household needs $3,000 per month, that is $36,000 per year. A $19,500 first-year portfolio withdrawal leaves a gap of $16,500. If you need $4,000 per month, annual spending is $48,000, and the gap rises to $28,500. At $5,000 per month, annual spending is $60,000, leaving a $40,500 gap. Those are not predictions. They are simple arithmetic, designed to show why your spending level matters more than the headline number in your retirement account. Now add Social Security. For people born in 1960 or later, the Social Security Administration says full retirement age is 67. Retirement benefits can generally begin as early as age 62, but claiming at 62 reduces the worker's benefit to 70% of the full retirement benefit for someone whose full retirement age is 67. That creates an important problem for someone retiring at 60. There can be at least a 2-year period before Social Security retirement benefits are available at all. And if you wait until full retirement age, the bridge is 7 years. If you wait until 70, the bridge is 10 years. This is why 2 people with the same $500,000 can have completely different outcomes. One person may have the pension, part-time income, or a spouse who is still working. Another may need the portfolio to pay almost every bill from day one. Social Security itself also varies dramatically from person to person because it is based on earnings history and claiming age. For context, Social Security Administration data show that the average monthly benefit for all retired workers in December 2025 was $2,070.30. But that is an average across existing retired worker beneficiaries. It is not an estimate of what you personally will receive. Use your own Social Security statement for your retirement calculation. Now we reach the issue that can make retiring at 60 much more difficult than retiring at 65. Health insurance. Most people first become eligible for Medicare around age 65. Medicare says the initial enrollment period generally lasts 7 months, beginning 3 months before the month you turn 65 and ending 3 months after that month. If you retire at 60, you may therefore need to fund roughly 5 years of health coverage before Medicare eligibility, unless you have another qualifying source of coverage. That bridge can be expensive, and the cost varies widely depending on household income, location, employer or spouse coverage, marketplace eligibility, plan choice, and health needs. So I would not put one universal pre-Medicare insurance number into your retirement plan. Get an actual estimate for your household, and do not assume health costs disappear at 65. Fidelity's 25 retiree healthcare cost estimate. says a 65-year-old couple retiring in 2025 may need about $345,000 in savings to cover healthcare expenses throughout retirement. The estimate assumes original Medicare and includes certain premiums and out-of-pocket costs, but it does not include every health-related expense, such as most dental services or long-term care. That $345,000 figure should not be subtracted mechanically from your $500,000 portfolio. It is a lifetime estimate built on specific assumptions, but it demonstrates why healthcare deserves its own line in a retirement plan. Now let's stress test the $500,000. Imagine your portfolio falls 20% early in retirement. $500,000 becomes $400,000 before considering withdrawals. If you still withdraw $30,000, that withdrawal now represents 7.5% of the reduced $400,000 balance. This is called sequence of returns risk. The danger is not simply that markets sometimes fall. The danger is being forced to sell assets and withdraw heavily while the portfolio is already down, especially in the first years of retirement. This is why flexibility has real financial value. Morningstar's research finds that flexible spending methods can support higher starting withdrawals than a rigid inflation-adjusted approach. But the trade-off is that your spending may need to move up or down with portfolio conditions. In plain English, a retiree who can temporarily reduce vacations, large purchases, gifts, or other discretionary spending after a bad market year has more room to protect the portfolio than someone whose entire budget is fixed. Now consider taxes. If your $500,000 sits entirely in a traditional 401k or traditional IRA, withdrawals are generally taxable income. If part of the money is in a Roth account, a taxable brokerage account, cash, or other assets, the tax picture can be different. So $30,000 withdrawn from an account is not necessarily $30,000 available to spend. The location of your $500,000 matters, not just the total. Later in retirement, required minimum distributions can also enter the picture. Under current federal rules, many retirement account owners must begin required minimum distributions at age 73, depending on birth year and account type. But at age 60, the immediate question is simpler. How much after-tax cash flow can your assets actually produce? Now let's build a practical retirement test. Question 1. What is your real annual spending? Not a guess. Look at the last 12 months. Separate essential expenses from discretionary expenses. Question 2. How much guaranteed or predictable income will you have? Include Social Security, using your actual estimate, pensions if you have them, and reliable household income. Question 3. How will you pay for health insurance from 60 to 65? Get a real quote or estimate. Do not leave this line blank. Question 4. How much of your $500,000 is actually investable retirement money? Do not count the value of your home as if it were cash, unless your plan genuinely includes selling, downsizing, or borrowing against it. Question 5. How flexible is your spending? If markets fall, could you reduce discretionary spending for a year or two? Question 6. What happens if retirement lasts to 90-95 or longer? A plan that works only if everything goes perfectly is not a strong retirement plan. So can you retire at 60 with $500,000? Here is the most accurate answer. It can be possible if your spending is modest, your housing costs are controlled, health coverage before Medicare is affordable, Social Security or other income will eventually cover a meaningful share of your expenses, and you have enough flexibility to reduce withdrawals when necessary. It becomes much harder if $500,000 must support high fixed expenses, expensive pre-Medicare health coverage, substantial debt, and nearly all household spending for decades. The key number is not $500,000. The key number is the gap between what your household spends and what your reliable income covers. Your portfolio has to fund that gap. For example, if your long-term spending gap after Social Security is $20,000 per year, that is a very different problem from a $40,000 or $50,000 annual gap. And the years between age 60 and the start of Social Security and Medicare deserve special attention because the portfolio may have to carry more of the load during that period. Before you retire, Build a one-page retirement map. Write down your annual spending. Your health insurance plan from 60 to 65. Your Social Security estimate at 62. Full retirement age and 70. Any pension or household income. Your expected portfolio withdrawals. Your tax situation. And the expenses you could cut during a bad market. Then test the plan under uncomfortable conditions. What if stocks fall in year 1? What if inflation stays elevated? What if a major home repair arrives? What if health costs are higher than expected? And what if you live 5 years longer than you planned? You do not need to predict the future perfectly. You need a plan that can survive more than one version of the future. $500,000 can be enough for some 60-year-olds. It can be insufficient for others. The difference is not a magic retirement number. It is the relationship between spending, guaranteed income, healthcare, taxes, time, and flexibility. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not individualized, financial, tax, legal, investment, Social Security, or Medicare advice. Before making a retirement decision, verify current rules and your personal numbers with the relevant government agencies and, when appropriate, a qualified professional. In the next video, we'll run the same retirement test with $1 million and see how much the picture really changes.